Hello, children. Today it is class 10th Geography books, chapter number 1 Resources and Development, and we shall be discussing some important points related to this chapter. So, let's get started. First of all, children, NCERT book is very important and also it is very good. It has knowledge in depth. So, please go through it in detail and if you go through it in detail, nothing else is required. So let's start. So if we talk about resources, what are resources? Anything or any substance which is available around us in the environment, which we can utilize for some purpose, is a resource. Human beings are also a part of resources. So anything, any stone, anything, land, water, everything, they come under resources. But uh, everything cannot be utilized, because for using them for any purpose, we require technology, institutes, we require many other factors to convert that material and make it into some useful purpose. So first of all, everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs is a resource, provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable, can be termed as a resource. So everything is available around it, but technology should support it. Economy, money, and everything should be in favor of it, so it can be termed as a resource. So over here, if we see this triangle, in this, it is physical environment on one side, technology institution on the another side, and human being are also a part of resource, but they are behind converting or making everything accessible or available. So the process of transformation of things available in our environment involves an interactive relationship between nature, technology, and institution. So, interactive, there should be a very comfortable relationship between all these things. For example, children, if you have some stones outside your house, you don't know what is the importance of those stones. You don't know. So, if you don't know, they are just lying there as stones. But if you know that, okay, these are of some importance, you can do this from them or that from them. So, but you should be also knowing, and besides knowing, okay, you know this thing is important, you'll pick that stone up. Then what would you do? Technology also should there to support whatever is the importance. So that is a resource. Over here, human beings themselves are essential component of resources. Yes, human beings are also a resource. So on the basis of origin, like over here, as we can see, resources are mainly classified into two parts: natural and human resource. Natural resources are those which are freely available around us in the environment, renewable, non renewable, and human resources are those which we human being have developed. These things we shall be discussing in the upcoming points. Okay, so let's turn the chapter. Let's turn the page. Sorry. Okay, so over here it is on the basis of origin, where they were first found. On that basis, if we see the biotic resources, these are obtained from biosphere and have life, such as human beings, flora, fauna. So, biotic resources, as you can see around yourself, the trees, flora, fauna, fishes, anything that is living which can be utilized is a biotic resource. Okay, all and biotic, abiotic is all those things which are composed of non living things are called abiotic resources. So, abiotic are also naturally available to us, but the difference is that in abiotic resources, they are not living. They are made up of rocks, metals, rocks, etc. You see outside. They are not living. Biotic are the lively things, livestock, trees, your fishes, your bees, anything that is living. There's a life in it. Okay, next is on the basis of exhaustibility. So, how they will get over in due course of time. On that basis, if we divide our resources, then it would be renewable resources. So, renewable resources are those resources like solar energy, sunlight. If you see, every day the sun is shining, and if we put some technology, if we use it in some way, we can use that potential power of solar, and we can make life simpler. These days we have taken up also solar lights, etc. Further also we can do research and set up more things. So solar, wind, okay, these are all renewable, matlab they can every day be, there's no matlab, limit to it. On the other hand, we have non renewable resources. These are those like fossil fuels, coal, etc., which we know are available, but there's a quantity to it. If it will get over, so it will not be so easily provided again. It will take years and years for it, maybe our lifetime. Next, coming up to the next point, on the basis of ownership, that is also something very important. Individual ownership resources. So individual resources are, these are privately owned, private farmers, etc. They own it, land or matlab pastures, etc. Pond is allotted to them so they can take fishes, etc. Individually owned is that. So make, please make points from these community owned resources. These are resources which are accessible to all the members. Like if there is a well in the village, or there's a pond in the village, or park, or anything which is allowed by all the members of that community, is a community owned resource. It does not belong to any particular person. That is very, very important, children. National resources. So, national resources are something which the country owns. It is like private property of the country, like all the minerals, water resources, etc., which are there in the country are belongs to that particular country. Even the sea water, the oceanic area, see, up to here, it's important. Oceanic area up to 12 nautical miles, 22.2 kilometer from the coast, termed as terrestrial water and resources therein belongs to that nation. So, sea water from the coast to 22.2 kilometer belongs to that particular country. So, fish, etc., whatever is there belongs to that particular country. International resources. There are international institutions which regulate some resources. The oceanic resources beyond 200 nautical miles on the coastline of the country belong to open sea, open ocean, and no individual country can utilize. So, there are international resources also. Water also there are resources. So, this way it has been uh, demarcated or distributed to make life simpler so that there is no conflict. Okay, on the basis of status of development, like potential resources. What are potential resources? So, matlab, it means place where it is there and it needs to be used by that particular place. Like in Gujarat, Rajasthan, there's a lot of potential of using solar energy and wind energy. So, more development and more utilization of this resource should be set up there. More technologically, it should be accessible. Then are developed resources. Developed resources, resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantities have been determined for utilization. These are developed resources. So, their quantity, quality, everything is told this much is available, this way it should be used. Stock. What is stock? Materials in the environment which have the potential to satisfy human needs, but human beings do not have appropriate technology to access these. So, stock is these are available around us in the environment, but we don't have a proper technology or we are not uh, enlightened enough to use it, like hydrogen, oxygen, these are component of water we have, so how to use them, etc, etc. So these have not been developed so much. Reserves. What is reserve? Are like also the stock, like we have rivers. From rivers also electricity can be generated and it can be used for further, so we have that and we are seeing how to use it in future. Okay, coming up to the next point is development of resources. Resources are vital for human survival as well as for maintaining the quality of life. So resources are very important for us. Without resources it is very difficult. So but there's a very important saying that resources should be utilized not with an element of greed. It belongs to all and it should be used very carefully. So, like water, if we waste water, it will not be available in near future. So, the points related to it are depletion of resources for satisfying the greed of a few individual. That is very wrong. Accumulation of resources in few hands, which in turn divided the society into two segments. So, holding the resources with few people, rich people, or so, that is also very wrong. Then is indiscriminately exploitation of resources will lead to global, so not using the resources properly, which is leading to a environmental hazard or in pollution, etc, is also something very incorrect. So these 3 points are important. Please take care and read them. And next, if we come, it is sustainable development. Sustainable development basically is we are developing our resources or whatever is available in such a manner that our future generations can also satisfy their needs from it. without damaging or disturbing much. Next is Earth Summit in 1992. This is important, and the Agenda 21. This is important. Please go through it. You might have questions from it. Coming up next is, okay, resource planning. So, resource planning is basically uh, like we know in which area what resource is available, and on that basis, we are planning out our process of utilization of that. Like Rajasthan is very well endowed with solar and wind energy but lacks in water energy. So the cold deserts of Ladakh is relatively isolated from the rest of the country. So we know the specific limitation or the merit of a place. So how can we plan the resources in that way? This is very important. Please make points from this para. Okay. So next is resource planning in India. So in India, how we are doing it is like number one is identification and inventory of resources, identifying and noting it down where the resources are available. Okay. Next is evolving a planning structure endowed with appropriate technology. Then, firstly, you are making a list. Then you are planning how to go about it, the planning structure, etc. Okay, this way we'll further go about it. That third is matching the resources development plan with overall national development plan. So, whatever you are planning, matching it with whatever are the overall country's national plan, etc. Okay, now this is important. The availability of resources is a necessary condition for the development of any region, but mere availability of resource in the absence of corresponding changes in the technology and the institution may hinder development. So, resource might be available, but with that you have to take into care that is the technology also supporting it over there. That is very important. Like it states about the history of our country. It says the history of colonization reveals that rich resources, like it's saying basically that India was very rich in resources in earlier times, today also. But in earlier times we were not able to do justice with those resources with the technology because we were not having much. So these colonies came over here and they exploited they took the resources and developed it. So that way we should also be having a proper strategy how to go about it. The technology should be there to support it. Okay, next, very important is conservation of resources. If we overdo with our resources, if we keep exploiting it or using it, it might get over in coming future. So to take care of that is also something very important. So irrational consumption, overutilization, etc., should be kept into mind. So there's something about Gandhiji, about his policy of how he used to do. There was a summit, so you can read that also. And further explanation of the chapter we will be taking in our upcoming next video. So by then, please make notes, mark important points, and revise it. It is very good. And detailed study of NCERT is best. So take care. And if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.